What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Tigers Live. I totally forgot to do the beginning thing. So that's my bad. But welcome, everybody, to Tigers Live, coming at y'all after the Memphis Tigers lose to Mississippi State 66-71. I am joined by a special guest, no Kenny Summerfield, but I am joined by Rusty Witten. What's going on, Rusty? How you doing, man?
Hail State, I am doing really well over here. It was a ugly afternoon of basketball, which we'll get into. But no, I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you having me on and letting me come hang out with you when Kenny is out today. I know he's got a prior commitment and reached out to me this morning, so excited to be here with you, bud.
Awesome, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Roman Clear is going to join us live from the what's the arena called? I should remember that.
So it's the Humphrey Coliseum, the Hump.
Okay, the Hump. So Roman will join us live from the Humphrey Coliseum in just a moment. This is what happens when there's no Kenny. The wrong intro. I don't even introduce myself properly. I'm Francis Carlota. Welcome to Tigers Live. And yeah, that's what happens when Kenny is not on the show. we're all just trying to float. You know, we're all trying to stay above water over here. But as Rusty said, Kenny is at the wedding of fellow Bluff City Media employee, lack of a better term, worker, employee,
talent, whatever you want to call it.
Talent, yeah. Christian Fowler, he's getting married today. Shout out to Christian and his amazing wife. Congrats to them. Kenny's at that wedding, but Rusty's here. Rome's going to join us in a second. So I know you're a Mississippi State guy, Rusty, but this is Tigers Live. So give me your thoughts. I don't know how much Tiger basketball you've watched. Give me your thoughts on this game and what you saw from the Tigers today.
I feel like this is kind of just a microcosm of who Memphis is. You're going to get streaky offense. You're going to get a lot of effort. I mean, they played really hard, rebounded the ball pretty well, good defensive effort, but it's just it rarely comes together from what I've seen. Very similar to Mississippi State. We're very similar basketball teams. We've got talent. We got guys who can do it, but nobody seems to want to do it at the same time. You know, there was plenty of opportunity for Memphis to take this game, get the bull by the horns, if you will, and they just never could quite string together multiple possessions. When you shoot the ball as poorly as they did, 29% from three, 37% from the field, and then 18 turnovers. That's what Mississippi State does really well. We force a lot of turnovers, but Memphis does not take care of the basketball. Nobody was coming to meet passes. Nobody was throwing the that we saw, like trying to be, cute almost, where they would do one extra pass in a place where they really didn't need to. And I feel like this game is just another microcosm of who Memphis is.
Yeah, no, I think that's really well said. Really well said. I see that Roman has joined the studio, so let me go and add him here. Roman, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. Felt like it just deja vu, right? This deja vu for another Tigers loss where they couldn't execute sloppy basketball. What are your thoughts on the game, Roman?
You know, this felt like like one of those Week 16 NFL games that they put in like the late window in the preseason. You're thinking it's going to be this big matchup, but you get to it and both teams have been eliminated from the playoffs, and it's kind of a whatever game. That's pretty much what this felt like. This felt like a game where, both teams were determined to lose the game, and one team ultimately wanted to lose it more than another, and that was Memphis today.
Yeah. I don't think either team played that well. Again, this is why I said it feels like deja vu. It felt like the Vanderbilt game all over again for the Tigers, where neither team looked good. It just so happened that somebody had to win the game. Somebody had to win the game, and it ended up not being Memphis again because no execution down the stretch. And I before we got on air, we were just in the studio waiting. That last turnover from Memphis, where they did force the turnover out of their press, where they needed to get the ball back, being down 3, they get the turnover, and then what do? They move again way too damn fast and just throw the ball out of bounds, and they're not on the same page. Like, that was a microcosm of that basketball game. Memphis just constantly not being on the same page. And we're at a point where there's no excuse for that. You could be not on the same page 3-4 games into the season. Now we're 10 games in. There's 1 game left in the non-con, and there's no excuse for that. For them not to be on the same page. They come out of timeouts and they turn the ball over. And it's not good basketball. It's so
No.
frustrating to watch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it starts with Curtis Givens missing that bunny towards the end. I
Yeah.
think once you see that happen, that's where the unraveling begins, because that would have put Memphis up by 5, I believe.
Yes.
But instead, Mississippi State goes back and makes it a 1-score game. Then Bradshaw misses the open 3. Then Doug commits that pretty bad foul at the top of the key, where you then see Mississippi State take the lead at the free throw line. Bradshaw turns it over inside, I think twice in that span as well. It's just the piling on of mistakes and turnovers and just costly losing plays, over and over again. Saw it against Wake Forest, saw it against Vanderbilt, and we saw it yet again tonight.
One of the things that I've seen with Memphis this year is King Meigs talks about it here. They're very undisciplined. And I don't know that I've normally seen that from a Penny team. I feel like normally Penny's teams usually have an identity of who they are, a better basketball IQ than what we've seen. And today it just felt like they were trying to do just too much, missing open looks, missing open passes with just lazy passes and lazy effort on those passes. This was not a disciplined basketball team. And the one thing about Mississippi State is we're a disciplined basketball team, and we're going to be, especially defensively, offensively, we're not that good at all. We don't have any real shooters. We go as Josh Hubbard goes. Appreciate what Jaden Epps did today. He's getting better as we go, but we're not a great offensive team. And so Memphis had plenty of opportunities to bury Mississippi State when we were missing. We had multiple 2 or 3 minute droughts without scoring, and Memphis just never could really take advantage of it.
Yeah, that was a point I was going to bring up in a bit, but I might as well bring it up now. There were so many times that Mississippi State was in a genuine scoring drought, and Memphis had chances to tie or take the lead many times in that second half, and they would either just turn the ball over or jack up an awful shot. If it weren't for that Curtis Givens attack at the rim, getting fouled, getting the N1, that was Memphis's first lead with 8:12 left in the game. Roman, am I correct?
Yeah, they took their first lead with 8:09 to go.
Yeah, but they had chances way before that.
Yeah.
In the second half to get the lead and just execute on the offensive side, but then it would just be a turnover and just a bad shot, and they couldn't take advantage of the handouts that Mississippi State was giving Memphis, and that again felt like the Vandy game.
Yeah, and I think it's also fair to say that this probably hasn't been the case in many games this year, but Memphis was probably the more talented team on the floor today, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say as well. So you can't even really throw out the talent excuse with it this time. This is truly just poor late game execution, lack of discipline, and again, just a microcosm of what this roster and this team is. A group of players who have never won before, who come from losing programs, and you try to come together and make them into a winner, and it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah. I mean, Mississippi State, it was late in the second half, probably around the 8-9 minute mark when Memphis finally took that lead, where we had that 3.5 minute scoring drought. And the lead from Memphis never really got more than, I think, 3. Wasn't that the highest lead? That the biggest lead they had was 3 or 4. It really wasn't. It wasn't a huge lead. Anyway, I was impressed by some of the guys. I thought Bradshaw protected the rim pretty well for Memphis. Y'all out-rebounded us, especially on the offensive end, dominated us on the glass. And that doesn't happen often to Mississippi State teams because we do have good bigs. So I was impressed with the rebounding effort from Memphis, but there was just so many things that, so many miscues and self-inflicted wounds, dribble out of bounds, pass to nobody, throwing it to the bench, when you could have taken advantage of Mississippi State's lack of offense today, and you never could.
Yeah. I mean, the bright side of this, I think, for both teams at the end of the day, regardless of who won or lost this game, it really doesn't matter, especially from Memphis' standpoint. Memphis is, as we know, they have eliminated themselves from at-large contention. The only thing that really matters at this point is, winning in the American Conference and, getting good seeding for the conference tournament. It is no longer the road to the Sweet 16 this year. It is the road to Birmingham. That's what the season has become for Memphis. So, I mean, losing this game to Mississippi State, it's obviously unfortunate for them. This would have been definitely a morale booster for sure. But it didn't happen. But they just have to, I guess, try to regroup the best they can. Ideally they'd beat Alabama State on Monday, take the Christmas break and then just get rolling and see what you can do in the American. And as for Mississippi State, they're cooked in the SEC anyway.
Yeah.
So,
the SEC, listen, you're not wrong. We're 5-1. we're 5-1 at home. We're a good home basketball team, but we just don't have the dogs to keep up in the SEC. I was telling Francis, like, Jans did not do a good job of building this roster. We got a lot of young guys who could be good in a couple of years, but this year we've made 3 straight tournaments. We're not going to make a 4th this year. One of the big tells, Memphis being 0-3 away from FedEx Forum is a huge tip towards an undisciplined team. They just don't travel well, and this showed. The Hump is a tough place to go play, but that's not a tough Mississippi State team that you would normally play in the Hump. Yes, we're 5-1 at home, but it's not like we've played a ton of great competition at home. Some of our tougher games have been on the road. At Utah comes to mind. But, like, a team that doesn't travel well is an undisciplined team, and a team that's going to struggle both in non-conference and in conference play. I know Memphis is still picked to win. There's a great chance that they can run the table in the American, but you've got to figure out how to make this team travel if you're going to do that.
Yeah. Roman, we'll get back to the game in a bit, but I want to ask you, Roman, talk to me about your thoughts on the rotations, the minute splits, the starting lineup, even starting Scylla out of nowhere, starting Ashton Hardaway after an awful game. What did you think of the starting lineup and the rotations today?
Well, it's the 9th starting lineup in 11 games for Memphis now. I probably can just stop it right there, to be truly honest. I think that just kind of goes to show what this is. But beyond that, you just see more rotation oddities. This was another game where, you saw Simon Majok not get in there at all until very late, despite the fact that he started 6 games this year. Zach Davis looked like, one of Memphis's best players just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now he's barely playing. His body language honestly looked awful today.
Terrible.
Just as a side note, Penny talked after last game about, saying that a pecking order has to come here. There has to be some sort of order with this rotation, but I don't think we saw that today at all.
No.
I don't think that really got established in any legitimate way. It seems like Memphis is still just as lost from that standpoint as they have been all year.
Yeah, I feel like this roster is a bunch of guys who are at similar skill levels. There's no one that really separates themselves from the pack. There is no guy on this team because they all are kind of similar. Like nobody stands out on this roster. Just when you think someone's going to, then they don't. Like you mentioned, Zach Davis, Roman, he just came off of a 22-point game against Baylor, and then after that, his minutes just went down the drain. He only played 3 minutes today, and in those 3 minutes, he had 2 turnovers. What the hell? And it wasn't you go to you obviously hear Penny talk a lot, Roman. You heard Penny say that Simon Majok and Julius Thedford were going to be pillars of the team, cornerstones of the team.
Yeah, he said cornerstones verbatim. That was after UNLV, I believe.
Yeah, and what the hell happened to that? Like, what happened to that? I don't understand. This Majok now just plays 1 minute.
I'm starting to doubt whether even Penny can answer that question at this point. I think he seems lost in this as well. This whole season is quickly unraveled into something that I don't think anyone could have imagined. I mean, obviously, a lot of people were understandably lower on this Memphis team heading into the season, but I just don't think you really could have envisioned it happening in this way, in this manner of all just this dysfunction that seems to be happening, and it seems to be increasing more and more as we go on here.
Yeah, and this is the point I was trying to make too. Like, they're a bunch of okay college players. They're a bunch of fine college players. That's what they are. They're a bunch of fine dudes, but nobody who can really establish themselves as a leader of the team. You heard on the broadcast that Penny's been trying to get Doug to be the vocal leader of the team. But I'm just going to be straight with y'all as much as I can. When I see Doug on the court, it makes me upset because he get really what's the word I'm looking for? He's like the annoying little brother on the floor who's always telling people, no, you should have been doing this. You should have been here. Why didn't you do this? Like, I feel like he's always nagging at his teammates, and I don't think that other guys are going to respond to that well. These are still adults. These are still grown men. And I know Doug is experienced. I know that. He's played a lot of college ball. But every time you see him on the floor, you see him get irritated with his teammates physically.
His body language sucks. This is the first time I've truly watched a full Memphis game. I've watched pieces, I've watched highlights. I keep it up being the local team. But if that's your leader, you're not going to go very far, because when things weren't, his shot did not fall. He was 0 for whatever in the first half. I think he had five points. His first 5 points came in the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, no, he was 0 4 when scoreless in the first half. And then scored.
And his body language was terrible.
Yeah, no, not great. Not great at all. I mean, that's just that's the reputation that Doug's carried for his entire college career. And you've seen guys with kind of lower reputations come into Memphis before and turn it around and kind of become the winners they weren't at previous spots. But that just hasn't been Doug McDaniel's story this year, and that just hasn't been Memphis' story as a whole.
Yeah. Again, you're around these dudes a lot. Does what you see from these guys personality wise, does it make sense from what you're seeing on the floor?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, sorry, and that might be an unfair question to ask you, and if it is, I apologize. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, from what you see of these guys, in terms of interacting with them off the court, or even seeing them at practice or what have you during press conferences, the way they compose themselves on the floor, and how their body language can get negative, or Doug is not the best vocal leader as we expect from him. Does any of that surprise you? I mean, and if that is an unfair question, let me know, and I apologize.
The answer is no. No, it really doesn't. We don't get to see them in practice at all, just for context. But we hear about things that happen in practice naturally, and none of it's all that great. We do talk to them very fairly often. There's really been nothing from a media press standpoint that's been overly encouraging from a player perspective there. There's no one that seems to be incredibly introspective or reflective or even emotional about what's happening out there. Penny certainly is. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, as you know.
Yeah.
There does seem to be an overall disconnect, I'd say, with what the expectation is. Again, these are, I hate to put it this way, but these are historically losing players at their previous teams. There is no real, proven winner on this roster. I mean, Sincere Parker made the tournament last year with McNeese State, but he wasn't the best player on that roster. Zach Davis and Aaron Bradshaw have made tournaments before, but they weren't really focal points on those teams. And your best player, Doug, he obviously hasn't ever made it. Sanadu Akeem has never played at a full Division I season. I guess, you see enthusiasm from Bedford. Obviously, he's obviously your most consistent energy guy, but he's a Memphis guy, so of course he's going to be an exception to the rule there. But overall, I mean, there does seem to be kind of a personality issue to a degree.
Yeah, I do want to say as well, and I have a question for you, Rusty. I think that there is, as a base level, effort from the team. I do think they still play hard. I just don't think they play disciplined. I don't think they play under control. They don't know where to properly put that effort that they're putting into the game into a positive way that impacts winning. Their effort, their energy, it's too out of control. They're not playing within themselves. They're not playing within a system. They're kind of just out there and just playing hard. I really believe they're playing hard, but they're just not channeling that effort in the right directions. Does that make sense to you, Rusty?
Yeah. So to make a couple Grizzly connections, it's a team full of Omax and Lance Stevenson, guys who play really hard, but reminds you of the Tasmanian Devil from Space Jam, where you're just as likely to get a layup as you are a pass into the fourth row, a dribble off the foot, a chaotic foul. Memphis played hard. You cannot knock the effort. The body language was terrible. The shots weren't falling. And like you said, it was completely disconnected, but they played hard. They didn't know which direction to play in, but they played in that direction, whatever direction they were heading, very hard. So yeah, I'll give them credit for that. But all in all, this team just lacks an identity. They don't know who they are. They've got, just way too many. I think at one point, Mississippi State was up 10-0 in paint points, and just there was no effort to get in the paint whatsoever from Memphis, and they kept shot chucking. And a shot chucking team to me is an undisciplined team that has no direction or clear direction of where to go. So to me, and that's no shade to Omax. I love Omax for the Grizzlies, but it's a bunch of guys who played hard, but they're all playing in 5 different directions.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, Roman?
I mean, I think some of that's accurate for sure. There just doesn't seem to be much of a consistent plan, especially offensively. I think they're starting to get there defensively to a degree, but that also just may be a product of facing less talented offensive teams. But they defended Vanderbilt well, even though you can also argue that Vanderbilt just played poorly. They were certainly good on the defensive end today, but there just doesn't seem to be much promise from an Encore standpoint right now overall.
Yeah, at the very least, like you said, Roman, defensively, I liked when Memphis switched to that 1-3-1 zone midway through the second half. It threw Mississippi State a different look. It kind of messed with them a little bit. And then they came out of that 1-3-1 zone and switched to a full court press that really sped Mississippi State up, forced a lot of turnovers. And I'm like, okay, good. Like, I like that. I like that a lot. You can see a clear plan. You could see Penny really trying to keep Mississippi State off balance. But then offensively, like you said, Roman, they kind of just keep doing the same stuff. 5-out offense where they run a lot of high pick and rolls and they try and hopefully get dribble penetration and maybe a drive and kick or maybe get to the rim. But there aren't enough guys in this team, and I've said this a lot on the show, there aren't enough guys on this team who can get to the basket. There aren't. Doug is quick as hell. He really is, but he's little. He's a smaller dude who doesn't have a lot of jump or lift when he gets up into the air. So he can get stuffed, as you saw, by a guard in a game. And Doug relies so much on creating angles and high glass finishes and really out of control shots to score once he gets in the paint. He really doesn't get fouled that much because he's so little, and refs don't like to call these fouls on those types of dudes. So Doug isn't a great dude to get to the foul, to get to the free throw line, get downhill, get to the basket. Sincere, he settles too much.
Yeah, Sincere is supposed to be your downhill guy, but he refuses to do it.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Exactly. He settles too much. And Curtis, well, shout out to Curtis. At least he got downhill. He got to the free throw line a few times. He was aggressive. He hit threes. This was a great Curtis Givens game. Who knows if that's consistent enough for the team, but they need it. They need somebody who can consistently get downhill. Hassan can get downhill, but this was a bad Hassan game. His decision-making today was not good. His handles looked way too high. He didn't seem – this wasn't the Hassan we saw in the past two games against Vanderbilt.
I don't know. Like a lot of – but the good plays that Hassan did make were often erased by mistakes of his teammates.
Sure, yeah.
Like two of his passes to Bradshaw down low that were, good, pristine, and would have led to easy baskets. They were both dropped and turned over. So
yeah,
I don't completely blame him there.
Okay, yeah, totally. Yeah, fair enough. Go ahead, Rusty. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had to sneeze a minute ago. What I've seen from Memphis is they play with pace, and Mississippi State was able to slow them down and force Memphis to play our game, and I think that led to a lot of the undisciplined mistakes as well because they didn't really know how to play down in the mud where we play. If y'all could turn this into a track meet, somebody was saying a little while ago, like Mississippi State, we're not good at one-on-one. We can't get around people. We don't dribble the ball. Josh Hubbard is. Josh Hubbard's a stud, and holding him to 12 points is very impressive. I mean, guy's every bit of 5'8", but it's just an absolute hooper. And he finished with 17. He had 12 late in the game. Some free throws to kind of ice it, drove that up. But Memphis allowed us to bring you down into the mud, and Memphis couldn't figure out how to get out of it. And I think that led to a lot of those mistakes. Drop passes, rush passes, trying to do too much, way too many contested shots, and it just forced you out of rhythm, and Memphis never could find it today. Yeah,
that's the problem when you don't have – dudes can get downhill. You don't have enough three-point shooting to space the floor. Memphis took, they took 31 threes today in this game. They made 9 of them, shot 29%. I tweeted this out. Memphis ranked 267th in the country in three-point attempts per game entering this one. I might have that number wrong, but they ranked really low in three-point attempts per game, only around 20.7 attempts per game. And in the first half, they already took 18. So this was a clear decision from Penny Hardaway and the coaching staff to tell his players, like, hey, y'all got to shoot threes. We got to start shooting more threes because that kind of is just how you win modern basketball. You can't win basketball games consistently if you're just not taking enough threes, and Memphis didn't take enough threes. But the problem to that is we don't have a lot of good three-point shooters. So yes, it's good to see Memphis take a lot more threes, but they don't have enough guys who can knock him down. They don't. Doug is not consistent enough. Quante not consistent enough. Ashton hit some threes today. That was good. Curtis hit some threes today. That's good. But they don't have enough guys who can space the floor. So when you don't have scoring on multiple levels of the court, you don't have an offense. No matter how much you want to scheme, no matter how many plays you want to dial up, it really doesn't matter if you don't have threats on each level of the floor. And that's the problem with Memphis' offense.
I'm gonna be honest. It honestly feels like we're running in circles at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, we're bringing up different points, but I think they all come to the same conclusion, the same answer. It's that this Memphis team just doesn't seem to have any real cohesion and any real identity on either end of the floor. It's getting there a little bit defensively, but offensively, they're just completely lost. I mean, they've barely taken any 3-pointers at all for most of the season, and then they take 3-pointers in their first 7 field goal attempts of the game. It takes them over 6 minutes to officially record a 2-point field goal attempt. Took them 1 minute and 8 seconds longer to actually make a 2-pointer. It just seems like they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what works and what doesn't. And when you do that, almost nothing is going to work.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm with you, Roman. It's unfortunately very clear what the problems with this team are. But hey, let's try. Let's go ahead and take a commercial break. Roman, I know you got to get to your press conference duties, so I don't want to take you away from that. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Rusty, I know you got to leave in a bit, so let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about this game, talk more about the Tigers. Roman, thank you so much, man. I'll see you on Monday.
All right, I'll see you, man.
All right, peace. Let me go and find this ad. My goodness, it has been way too long. Thank you.
In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
Would you be in favor of a G5 playoff? I mean, I know you want a seat at the table. I know that there is value right now in being the G5 champ and getting a bid to the playoff. Would you not just rather just have a expanded playoff in the G5 and have like a championship you could actually compete for? Either of you?
I don't know. I don't know. I've kind of always been against that, and I know the reality is that the likelihood of Memphis ever actually making a title in football is basically zero. But I don't know. There's just something that makes it feel
second rate.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to see the European soccer relegation system.
I would be all for that. If you had two separate championships and the champion or the top teams from the G5 had the opportunity the next season to play in the P4, I'd be all about it. I don't think it will ever happen, but that would be
No,
awesome.
the SEC would never agree to it.
Yeah.
Tune into the Two Buck Sports Show with Rusty Witten and Drew Gann, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Tigers Live. Rusty, every time we come off a break, this is like I get to talk to people about what's going on in my lifetime of the show.
Yeah.
So last night I went out with some friends, went to one of my favorite bars out here in San Diego. It's called Triple Crown Pub. They have ping pong in the back. They have pool tables. They got good beer, got darts, like all the games. So it's one of my favorite bars just ever. I love going there. Had a great time.
Sure.
And I got kind of drunk, enjoying myself out with friends. I got drunk,
Yeah.
had a good time.
As one might from time to time.
Exactly. When you go to a bar with friends, and we all know what that feels like when you're out drunk and you're out with friends. Like, what do you want? What do most people want? They want some food. They want something to eat, something that fills you up, kind of satisfies that itch that you have when you're drunk with friends. You want some food. You want a good burger. So if you're in Memphis, you're in Collierville, you're out with friends, you're hanging out with people, you're enjoying yourself on a Friday night, Saturday night, or whatever night it may be, and you're hungry, you want a good burger, go to Mugshots Grill and Bar. They're the South's premier sports grill and bar with 2 locations in the Mid-South, 6400 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and 656 West Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Tennessee. Some sports bars, they can be stuffy, the food not satisfying, and an environment not friendly to cheer on your favorite teams. But that's not Mugshots. Mugshots isn't stuffy. It's laughter, high fives, big burgers, and even better company. Check out www.mugshotsgrillandbar.com and check out the menu or order online for pickup or delivery. Shout out to Mugshots Grill and Bar, the sponsor for Tigers Live, and shout out to them for hosting the Live Tigers Live and hosting the one we're going to do on January 3rd when Memphis plays Rice. I'll be there. I'll be there live, and hopefully y'all are too. Hopefully everyone in the comments, all 287 of y'all watching the show, and the rest of y'all who watch the show when we're not live, come out to Mugshots. Come say hi. I'd love to meet all of you wonderful people, talk Tiger basketball, have some drinks, eat some good food. And yeah, hopefully y'all can come out to when we do that live show. Shout out to Mugshots Grill and Bar.
Get the peanut butter burger and the cheese sticks. You will not be sad.
Oh, absolutely. Got to. I love a good cheese stick, man. I do. It's just fried cheese. You can't go wrong.
Their cheese sticks and their fried mushrooms are great. I've been going to Mugshots since college. There's one in Starkville when I was there, and it was the spot in college. And trust me, the peanut butter burger is fire.
Hell yeah. Yes, Meeks, I am still coming to town. I'll be in Memphis December 31 through January 4th. So I'll celebrate New Year's with my family. I'm very excited about that. Yeah. Then me and my wife are going to get a hotel, see friends, go out to the live show, hang out with all of y'all, and have a great time. So hopefully all of y'all come to Mugshots Grill and Bar in Collierville, January 3rd for Memphis versus Rice. Okay, Rusty. This is a tough position that the Memphis Tigers basketball team is in. And there's just no other way to put it. They're in a really tough position. They're now 4-7. They have one more game in the non-conference. Let's say they beat Alabama State, which, shoot, with the way this team is playing, it's not just a given. They still got to play the game and play hard. My goodness. So let's say they win. Let's give it to them. They finish the non-conference 5-7. They enter American Athletic Conference play 5-7. The pulse of Tiger Nation as fans. I know you're a Mississippi State guy, Rusty, but what would your message be to Tiger Nation as they enter conference play with still stuff to play for? What would be your message?
I mean, the AAC is not what it used to be from a competition standpoint. You kind of slugged your way through non-conference. You got a good win over Baylor. You found some things that work. I guess you just got to trust that the AAC is not the conference that it used to be. You've got an opportunity to run the table. You're going to have to play mistake-free basketball. You got to hope that you're working the bugs out now You were competitive with a great Vanderbilt team who's undefeated, went to overtime with them. There are things about this team that work, that can be competitive, and that can be, that can work in conference play. And so you just trust that the schedule is going to do what it can do for you to get you into the tournament. And that's, you got to win your conference. We've seen Memphis struggle with that in football. They can't seem to win their conference. Basketball has been an issue in the past. There's going to be a bad loss here or there, but you can't let that bad loss derail you for multiple games, right? Like, you can't let this Mississippi State loss force you to lose to Alabama State as well, because you have some of that carryover to that game. You got to figure out what's going wrong. You got to figure out what went right and make a plan to make that happen. Again, you've got teams, you can get some good wins in the AAC. You just got to win convincingly.
Yeah, I agree. There's still all to play for in the conference. I know people are going to be asking now, like, oh, do you think Memphis can still win the American Athletic? Yes, I still think they can. If I'm a betting man, I still would bet that they would win the American Athletic Conference. That doesn't change. A win against Mississippi State would not have changed that opinion, and the loss that happened still doesn't change that opinion. I think that they are still the most talented team in the conference, and because they're the most talented team, they should win the American Athletic Conference.
And FanDuel agrees. FanDuel, one of our other sponsors, the official odds provider for Bluff City Media, FanDuel has Memphis at plus 200 to win the American. Tulsa is plus 360. South Florida plus 380. So Memphis is a fairly favored to win the conference. They just got to go out and do it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously easier said than done, but I think they still can. All of these dudes on this roster, man, they've got to take a look into themselves. They've got to be introspective. They have to self-reflect. They have to realize that the way they're playing basketball, out of control, undisciplined, not taking awful shots, fouling 50 feet from the basket, just all these dumb, undisciplined things that do happen too often, they have to realize that it has to stop. They have to realize that. If I can realize it, if you can, Rusty, if the rest of us watching this team play, if we can all see that this crap has to stop, if they want to win basketball games at a consistent level, then they've got to realize it too, and they've got to put the actions on the floor. The amount of consistent, disciplined play from this team has not happened. It hasn't happened. If anything, they're consistently inconsistent. They're consistently inconsistent.
And this is a very good point. It's do or die in the conference, and Memphis, unfortunately, and not me throwing any shade, has been known to have a few bonehead losses in conference play that are just unexplainable, that you just absolutely cannot have, and you don't have those mulligans this year. Normally in the past, non-conference has helped you. You've had some wins early. You've built up some mulligans. But you just lost your mulligan there, losing to Mississippi State, losing it to Ole Miss, UNLV. You played some tough teams. You played Purdue, and they were the number one team in the country, right? You played these teams that beat you, but you've eliminated all your mulligans. Like, you've got to go out and win your games in order to get there, and that's not something Memphis has historically done, has run the table in conference play.
Yeah, I'd say, Rusty, they lost their mulligan a while ago. Like, they lost it a while ago. Their chances for an at-large bid was evaporated a while ago. Now, as Roman said earlier, even if they did beat Mississippi State today, that doesn't now put them on the bubble or put them in the tournament. Yeah. No, not at all. Like, they are far from sniffing the bubble right now. That's to be very real about that. So, even in the conference, like, say they lose a game here or two in the conference, but if they can still find a way to win it, then that's really all that matters. Like, all that matters is that they win the American Athletic, they win the tournament, and they get to the NCAA, and that just is what it is. I'm seeing all the comments. I see a lot of people. I see someone I can't find it. Somebody, I think it was Mask Gaining guy, who said that why is Memphis media too soft on Penny Hardaway? Look, I'm not going to sit here and just like chastise Penny, but at the same time, he still has to figure a way to get this team to buy in. He is still the head coach of this team. He is still the voice, the leader, the man to lead this basketball team. And if he can't figure this out, then, we'll have the conversation. we will have the conversation later on in the season. If things do not turn around, if the conference play is terrible, then we'll have the conversation. Don't you worry. But again, I'm trying my absolute best, Rusty, to be.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm trying so hard, man.
I mean, there can be, right, there's blame to go around everywhere. Penny didn't build a great roster this year, it doesn't look like. You didn't go get that dude. You don't have that guy that can take over and win you basketball games. The team's not responding to him for whatever reason. But if I'm Memphis, I am nowhere near ready to throw the baby out with bathwater. Like, it's tough that, NIL felt like it did. The roster didn't materialize like you'd hoped. But I truly, I think Penny has earned ample grace to stick with this team, because like if you fire Penny, you're starting all the way over, and it's not, and the cover's going to be there for a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the Smooth Southpaw said. I don't think Penny is the problem. College basketball is so dumb now. You can say that about college sports in general, the way NIL works and budgets and all these things. St. John's, UK, high payrolls, and they suck too. Yeah.
Memphis is one of 3 teams this year that have 0 returning contributors, and that's a completely new roster, and that's tough to do year in and year out. It's tough,
dude. And it's not only that. Not only is it tough, it's tough to build a culture. It's one thing to even have a consistent basketball product when you have all these new returns. That's one thing. The other stuff, and arguably the more important stuff, is trying to build a culture for your program with brand new guys who, has been well documented, they're not used to winning. This isn't comfortable for them to do. So it's this. I didn't expect Memphis to be in this position now, but at the same time, it's kind of it is understandable. I definitely think it's understandable. And as you said, Rusty, we're willing to. Penny has earned some grace from the athletic department. But what's happening? Am I gone?
No, I think we're still here. There we are.
Oh my gosh, that was so odd.
Yeah,
okay,
what happened there?
I didn't touch anything.
I answered my lap.
That was so odd. But now I lost my train of thought. With a brand new roster in this day and age of college sports, it's so hard to just build a culture. Last season, I was really happy with the culture that Penny built. And I think he was very adamant that he wasn't taking BS anymore. He was kicking players off the team. Like he had a much firmer hand with his roster. And it led to a really good basketball season from the Tigers last year. This year, it's brand new guys who don't know Penny's coaching style, who don't know the culture of Memphis basketball, who most of them don't know the culture of Memphis in general and what it means to play for the Tigers. At least they have a couple of Memphis guys, but the majority of them definitely don't. And it shows. It shows. I coach my law school's negotiation team, and it happens all the time where we get a new team at the start of each new school year because they graduate, and you have to rebuild a culture and rebuild everything from scratch. And it's hard. It's hard without veterans who have been in the program, who have been in the system for a long period of time. It's difficult. So I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's understandable, I think, that we are where we are at with the Memphis Tigers basketball team.
It is, but Penny's got to adapt. Like it's time. You've got to adapt or die in this landscape of college basketball. Other teams have figured it out. Penny, like 2 things can be true. Penny is not on a hot seat. Penny is not in danger of being fired. And Penny has to get better and figure it out in this new age of college basketball, because it's not going anywhere. You've got a bunch of mercenaries, guns for hire, that are coming in for 1 year and they're going somewhere else. Like, you've got to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. 100% agree. Okay. Well, look, I think we've beat this game to death. Like, we know that this is not a great performance from the Tigers, and they didn't execute again. Offense looked just all over the place. Yes, I think they played really hard on both sides of the ball, but as I said before, they're not putting their effort in the right direction. They're not putting it in the right places. They're still out of control with that effort that they are playing with, and it shows. Defensively, there were positives. I like them switching to that zone. Their press worked again. Maybe those can be cornerstones of the defense moving forward, but offensively, my goodness. And we heard before that Penny Hardaway says that he doesn't coach offense. Well, Penny, you've got to coach offense now. You and your staff have got to do some offensive coaching. y'all got to do something because this offense looks stagnant. They look lost. They're not on the same page. We're now 11 games into the season, and this offense has to improve. I'm taking nothing less than a blowout against Alabama State for me to have some genuine optimism entering conference play. Like, I've got to see a real blowout from this team, a real performance from the Tigers against Alabama State on Monday for me to be optimistic. And that's sad. I hate being a Debbie Downer. I am an optimistic guy. I try and see the glass half full as much as I can, but it's hard to right now. It's tough. It's tough. So that's how I'm feeling about this team. And hopefully, but hey, win or lose, we will still be here for Tigers Live, for Bluff City Media, doing the show and talking to all of y'all about the Memphis Tigers. Westy, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Any last thoughts for you? Go Grizzlies. Hopefully they get the dub tonight.
Yeah, go to see the Grizz play downtown. Hey, I'm riding high, man. State got to win. We looked, awful, but we found a way to win late. Not to rub salt in the wound, but hopefully the Grizzlies look better. No, I mean, Penny's, like I said, Penny's got to figure it out. This roster is not it, but he's got to figure out how to make it gel for a strong conference run, because that's your only shot at making it to March. Otherwise, it's going to be the same thing next offseason, a complete overhaul of the roster, and Penny has to figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, man. Thank you, Rusty, for coming on the show. To all of y'all tuning into Tigers Live, all y'all tune in, thank y'all so much. To everyone, even if you're not live and you watch this show later on, thank you for watching Tigers Live. Thank you for supporting Bluff City Media. Go check out all their other amazing shows. Go check out Rusty on the Two Bucks podcast. Go check out all the other awesome things that Bluff City Media puts out. Thank you to all y'all tuning in. Everyone in the comments section, y'all are the best. Thank y'all for rocking with us. We'll see y'all next Monday after Alabama State. Peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of Tigers Live. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.